Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Hope you are great. I came across this video from this beautiful woman talking about the real reason they don't want black and brown people in the armed forces. And then she gave all her reasons and all that. And also another woman was also that talking about how white people are very scared that they will be outnumbered. And I am like, why are they always scared? I remember the video Sister Joy Reid made. She was asking, why is it that white people are still mad? Why are they pissed? Because literally they have everything. Everything they wanted, they have it. They have the president, they have the White House. Why are they still acting like, black people are stealing something from them or they stole something from them? And also, if you can see how hard they are purging the the government job and purging people and all that. One thing I have noticed about white people is that they don't mind if that thing is going to also affect them. They will be happy if they are not making, they will be happy if they are not making money because they do not want black people to make that same money. Just like the way the poor white people decided that black people are their problem and voted against their own interests. And it is hurting them and also hurting us, because when you see some videos of them saying that they can't afford anything and all that, that shows how bad everything has declined and it's also affecting them. And then seeing people in this woman's comment section talking rubbish tells you a whole lot. Let's get into this video.
I am Kylie, and white conservatives are terrified of POC outnumbering us. And I truly believe this is the motivation behind a lot of hateful policies in the US. If you haven't heard of the Great Replacement Theory, it is that over time, if enough black and brown immigrants come to the US, as well as white people having children with POC, then over time, POC will outnumber white people. And the reason that this is so unsettling to a lot of white people, especially conservative white people, is that they are terrified that if POC become in power, then they will treat us like we've treated them in the past, which is obviously not great. It involves subjugation of people, enslavement, assault, violence of basically every kind. And I think that white people can feel the shift happening as they are becoming more and more outnumbered. And that is why they are clinging so tightly to power in Congress and with the president right now. And that's why it's so funny when white people deny that racism exists, because if they didn't think racism did exist, they wouldn't be scared of being outnumbered. But they understand the ways that we have treated people of color has been atrocious, and thus they are scared of the tables turning and of being in that position of.
Y'all, I'm finna say two things that y'all think aren't related, but they are absolutely related. And the common thread is going to be that they're rooted in white supremacy and elitism, okay? Mean Girls in Pilates, and the reason why Pete Hegseth doesn't want black and brown people or women in the military. Now, before you say I'm out of my mind and I'm deranged and maybe I need to put on a 10 hat or go 5150, let me cook, okay? For starters, I'm a 24-year retired Air Force veteran, right? I came from a family that did not have the money to send me to college. I did do well in school. I did get scholarships. I could have went on scholarships, but because I had a family that was struggling financially, I was a little bit scared to go to college because I was afraid to take out loans if I needed to, because I had seen how loans had put a lot of my family in debt in ways that they could not get out of, and I didn't want any parts of that. Right? So I decided to go into the military. Long story short, what was supposed to be 4 years turned into 24. Okay. In those 24 years, I managed to get 3 degrees completely free. All right. I got 100% tuition. My 3 degrees were completely free. I managed to get at least 2 different certifications completely free. I got my GI Bill and transferred my GI Bill to my son, who can now go to college completely free. I'm also a 100% disabled veteran, permanent and total. So my son can also go to school based off of Chapter 35, I believe it is, completely free. I was able to buy a house with the VA home loan, okay? And because the VA home loan guarantees up to $450,000, and I bought my house in Texas a little over, coming up on almost 20 years ago. We're a few years shy of 20 years that I bought that house. So I have about $350,000 left of that I can put into another home loan, guaranteed home loan, because you can use up to 400. I think it's 400,000, not 450,000. So I might have 250. I don't know. Anyway, point is, I amassed all of that while I was in the military, plus hard and soft skills that made me very marketable when I retired, so much so that I was able to walk into a training director role. And when I decided that the workforce just wasn't for me, I was able at 44, actually right before I turned 43 years old, I was able to say, you know what, I don't want to go back to work anymore, and I don't have to for the rest of my life. Now, you may be wondering what all that has to do with what I just said. All of that has to do with what I just said because there are plenty more black people who have came into the military, black and brown people, and women who have came in the military who played that same long game. So not only are they pissed that these people are excelling in rank within the military and quote unquote taking their positions from them when ain't nobody taking shit from them. We're just good at our jobs and got promoted on merit. We're also creating generational wealth in ways that they didn't never want us to create generational wealth. Hence Jim Crow and segregation and all of the other things they had going on, right? And burning down anything, any town, any black town that tried to do well for itself, right? So there's that. So that's why they want them out the military. You could talk about other things, and I'm not saying the other things don't have merit, but that's the biggest reason. Because we're creating wealth and we're in places that they don't think we should be. Think about the Jay-Z song, the Beyonce and Jay-Z album, The Carters, and the song Nice, where he says, time to remind me I'm black again, huh? All that talking back, I'm too arrogant, huh? They have felt that way since Barack Obama became president because they assumed that we were proud that we finally got one black president, that we were being arrogant. And we weren't. We were just being proud. Right? So that's the military piece, right? Now, going back to Pilates and Mean Girls, same concept, different font, right? Same racism, same classism, same elitism, different font. Most women that take Pilates believe Pilates is an expensive course that should be reserved for people who are affluent and have money. So when they see black and brown women in there, they naturally assume we're not affluent and we don't have money. And I know, baby, I be pissing them off coming because I keep braids, locks, sew-ins, all types of different hairstyles. And typically my nails will be done. They're not done now because I waited too late to take them off and schedule my appointment with my tech. But that's okay because next weekend I'll be back to being a baddie. Well, I'm still a baddie, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, point is, they see me with the long nails that they assume are ghetto, with the different hairstyles that they assume are ghetto, me walking in because it's hot in there when we get to work, and at least for me, with this jacket on, but when I take it off, I got on bra tops with abs underneath. You know what I mean? And I'm wearing most of my crystal copper bracelets and things like that. Long story short, I'm unapologetically black when I walk into those spaces, waist beads and all, and they see that and they think I don't belong. I shouldn't be there. Why am I there? Why am I taking classes in mid-afternoon? Why ain't somewhere at work hustling? Why ain't somewhere struggling? Okay? That's what a lot of this boils down to. And some of it, for most of the white women, it's going to be racism mixed with classism. But there are some black women who are out there being mean too, as we've seen lately with some of these black women coming on this app talking about Pilates and different bodies that should and shouldn't be in Pilates. That is their proximity to whiteness showing, as well as their elitism, classism showing. So, like I said in the beginning, it was going to sound crazy, but I was going to make it all relate. I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are about this. So please drop down in the comments and let me know, did I cook? Or do I need to get back in the kitchen because the meal is still undone? Okay? All right. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Be safe out there. Bye. You just out here pulling every single trope in the book. Not you using your black wife as a token. Who? Does she know you on the internet embarrassing her like that? Does she know? And as far as your comment on the other, you left a couple of comments under this video. I know you're Latino. I seen your name. I know you're Latino. Which, again, is like, don't act like there's not anti-blackness in the Latino community. Please don't do that. Don't act like it's not, because it very much is. And you're showcasing it because you're using the term woke as if it's some type of dog whistle, some type of replacement for the N-word. And if you don't realize what you're doing, now's a good time to, stop and listen to another black woman educating you on how you're coming off. And maybe perhaps do some self-reflection and figure it out. See, because The white people use woke as a dog whistle for the N-word, as a replacement for the N-word, as a replacement for the blacks, things of that nature. So when you use it, which by the way, you still haven't defined what you think woke is. Go ask your wife what woke is. Go ask her what she thinks it is. And go tell her you in other black women's comment sections arguing with them about their lived experience. Go tell her that too while you at it. Okay? If you truly don't mean to make everything racist as if you say, I encourage you to sit down and do some self-reflection. To continue arguing with me in my comment section would only mean you don't mean anything that you're saying. And woke was a dog whistle. And now you're trying to cover it up because I called it out. Right? So either sit down and do some self-reflection, and stay the fuck about my comment section, or admit that you used woke as a racist term and you got called out for it, and now you're trying to backpedal. But don't tokenize your black wife in my comment section. Never gonna fly. Don't, if you got kids, don't tokenize your black kids in my comment section. That ain't gonna fly either. You being Latino, don't make me go, oh, you couldn't possibly be anti-black because you're Latino. There's black people that could be anti-black, which was the point of my original video. One of the points I made in my original video about black women being anti-black in Pilates. So I don't care that you're Latino. That doesn't mean that you can't be anti-black. You're in my comments being anti-black with that woke comments. So I'm gonna call it out every goddamn time. You don't want me to call it out, stop doing it. You see how that works? You're not gonna sit here and try to make me feel like I'm the one who threw the race card out. I said what I said with my full chest and I stood on it. And you have yet to define woke. And you have yet to say why you think the army is so weak, yet you spent 32 years there. None of what you're saying is making sense, sir. And this is the last time I'm going to address you politely. I'm not going to be so nice the next time. Stop tokenizing your wife. Stop tokenizing you being Latino as if that doesn't mean you can't be anti-black. Define woke. Define why the army was so weak, but you spent 32 years there. Okay. I'm tracking now. I had to make sure. I wasn't sure what you meant by the only one. So I wanted to be clear because I didn't know if you meant like being a woman or being an outspoken, loud person, minority person. I didn't know. So thank you for clarifying. And thank you for your support. No, there's actually a lot of us in the Air Force, as quiet as it's kept. I think there's more of us in the Army than the Air Force, absolutely. But there's actually a lot of us in the Air Force. So no, I never felt like the only one. Now, I will say at my last unit, while we had other black people in the unit, I was the only black female senior NCO in that entire organization. And that presented its own set of challenges because I was often thought of as the angry black woman, especially when I would put my rank on the line to protect a lot of younger black men that were being mistreated within the unit. I remember specifically we had 2 units deployed with us because we were in Guam, and we had 2 units attached to us, temporary duty from other locations. And we had a white male E5 and a black male E5 in the very same weekend, both get caught with DUIs. The black man just got stopped and they found out he was drunk, long story short. The white man actually crashed his vehicle into a civilian building, and that's how they found out he was drunk. The black man got an Article 15 and was denied a medal upon leaving. It was considered a deployment to Guam upon leaving the deployment. And the white male didn't get an Article 15. I think he might have got a letter of counseling and received a medal when he was leaving. And when that medal crossed the admin's desk and the admin said something to me about it, I was immediately in the superintendent's the first sergeants in the commander's office trying to figure out why the black staff sergeant who did the same offense with lesser damage was punished more harshly. So a lot of times yeah, I did feel like I was out on the island defending a lot of people who were mistreated. We had another dark-skinned black woman who was also, she was a senior airman. She was an E4, then she became an E5, who was also being mistreated. And I spoke up a lot, which is exactly why I did not make it past the rank of E7, because I would call out a lot of BS as I saw it. And actively fight for those people. And the reason why I did it is because I would think that if my child joined the military, I would want someone fighting just as hard for them. So in that respect, I'm sorry this is so long-winded, but in that respect, yes, it absolutely could feel like you were on an island, especially when a good portion of your unit is not black, or a lot of the black people in your unit would keep quiet and kind of let you be the sacrificial lamb to speak up and say stuff because they knew that I was going to speak up. So in that respect, yeah, I guess it did feel like an island. But as far as like saying, it's plenty of us in every base we went to was plenty of us. So as far as like after work hours, nah, it was always a vibe, but it worked because we were all spread out within different units. Sometimes, yeah, it could feel a little lonely, in all honesty.
Family, let's be real. Black and brown people in this country are fed the fuck up. Every day under this Trump administration, we're watching the law get violated in broad daylight, while we're just trying to live, raise our kids, or build something for ourselves. We did not ask for this fight, but this regime keeps putting a target on our backs. And it's not just Trump. He stacked the Supreme Court with a bunch of loyalists. The military is following his orders, and people like Pe0ple are just giving commands that aren't even lawful. That's not democracy. That's tyranny. And the whole world sees it because folks are scared. They're packing up. They're leaving America in numbers that we've just never seen before. And if you look at what's happening in our neighborhoods, troops are patrolling the streets like it's a war zone. And when the only thing that we're guilty of is existing while black and brown. So let's be clear. Trump's greed and his obsession with attacking us isn't just dangerous for us. It's dangerous for the whole country. So because if you keep pushing people into a corner, eventually they're going to push back. And when people lose faith in the justice system, when we believe that the courts won't protect us, every state in America, we're slipping into chaos. And that's not a warning, that's a fucking guarantee. Trump can control the soldiers, but he cannot control the spirit of the people. And if the people rise, no army in the world is going to be able to stop them. So this administration needs to understand, you cannot keep sowing division, fear, and hate without consequence. What starts as an attack on black and brown people will end up tearing at the very foundation of this country. And if America falls into an abyss, it won't just swallow us, it's going to swallow everybody. So I'm telling you, stay aware, stay strong, and stay united, because history shows us one thing: every empire that forgets its people eventually collapses.
Hey everybody, so I've been seeing a lot of progressives say that soon Trump supporters will get what they voted for and they will realize, oops, that was a bad idea, and then they will change. I hope that these progressives are right, but I have my doubts. Because it neglects a major part of what America is and has always been. In the United States, the wealthy elite and powerful politicians have been able to unite themselves together by using racism in order to pit the white working class and white poor people against black people. We see this pattern as early as 1676 with Bacon's Rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion united poor white people and black people in an effort to make life better for themselves. During this time, many poor white people were indentured servants. They had legal protection, but they were often treated like black slaves. As Michelle Alexander tells us in The New Jim Crow, the wealthy elite abandoned their reliance on indentured servitude in favor of bringing more black slaves. This gave poor white people just a little bit more dignity, and more important, it allowed them to think, well, my life might be really bad, but at least I'm not like black slaves. This has been the pattern of racism in the United States throughout our history. We see this in the 1800s with slavery. After the Civil War, there's a bit of hope during the age of Reconstruction when poor white people and black people begin to work together. But soon the wealthy elite and powerful politicians do their thing once again and pit poor white people against black people. And this is exactly what is happening today. And we are seeing this today as Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are supporting Donald Trump as he overtly unites poor people and working class people against immigrants. So I'm afraid that we are all going to get what Trump supporters voted for, which, if he enacts his policies, is going to be an economic disaster. So Trump supporters may say, yeah, life is hard for us, but at least we're not like those immigrants. At least we don't have it as bad as black people. Now, it would be easy for us to start blaming Trump supporters, but that's exactly what Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk's, and Donald Trump want us to do. They want us to be so busy blaming one another that we don't find the real problem, which is the wealthy elite and the powerful politicians. And so we have to start finding ways to stop fighting each other, because that is exactly what the white, wealthy elite and powerful politicians want us to do. Jesus never says that the problem was with immigrants or with black people. Jesus says that the real problem is with wealth. He says that it is easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. But we are too consumed with blaming immigrants that we forget what Jesus actually said, that the problem is with extreme wealth and greed for power. God bless.
This is all I got from this video. And some will ask, how did the other videos come about? You know, the video she made, the first video she made, other people commented under the video and she responded to them with a video, right? Now, let me say this. I don't know why some people that are in black proximity think that because they probably married a black woman or you have black kids means that you can speak for black people or speak about their experiences and all that. You don't have any right to do that. So please, you guys should stop doing that, because you could see how someone jumped into her comment section to tell rubbish and started with woke, weak, and all that. Like you said, they always do it like it's a dog whistle or something like that without even knowing the meaning of woke. Let me tell you this, for those that do not understand everything about United States. You know, I always say this, that the system is actually not broken, that it is working the way it is meant to work. So when people say the system, it is not broken, on a very serious note, right? And everything, the entire nation is built in racism. Everything. There is nothing that was not built in racism and all that. And I keep asking myself, why is it that, to them, they have everything. It's just like the way Sister Joy Reid said, what is it that you guys have everything that, the White House is all yours, everything, everything, they have everything. There is nothing they do not have. But why is it that you will also not let black people live and let live? Why? And they will do everything in their power, including hurting themselves, to prevent civil and financial equality, not just for them too, for other people. They don't care, as long as, even if it's hurting them, let it hurt them, as long as other people are going through it. And each time I sit down and think about all this, like, how do they think like this? It's just like the way poor white people decided that, oh yeah, black people are our problem. Let's go and make life harder for them when they are suffering like I am suffering. I don't have 10 kobo, and they also do not have 10 cents. It's that bad, right? Why would I have opportunity that if I allow other people to also tap into it, I will be making money and they will also be making money? No, I don't want them to make money. So for that reason, I am going to block it, even if it means me not getting that money. Heaven forgive some people. May heaven forgive some people. And this is one of the reasons why they purge federal government. They think when they purge federal government, they are also purging themselves. They think they want to get rid of, I don't know, but sometimes I sit down and think about how Black people have been able to live through these people, and I am like, what? Sincerely speaking, I've been saying this. This is not my first time of saying this, and I will continue to say it. If not that I am saying everything by myself, I am the one that outsourced, like, get all this news myself. I am the one that do sit down and talk about it. I am also the one that edit it by myself. I won't lie to you. I will sometimes sit back and feel like maybe I am acting this up, or maybe there is somewhere that I am getting these videos just to make stories up. That is how crazy it is. You know, I am just trying to tell you the truth. Sometimes it sounds unbelievable. Why? Because seeing human being behave like this, I don't know, it's in kind of crazy. You see, there are some days I sit down with my sister or I call her on phone. We talk about this at length and all that. She said human beings are just crazy and sometimes they are unbelievable. Like, how do people sit down to think about all these things and also plan to execute them, even when it is like affecting them badly? The reality is that I am saying all these things by myself. I don't need anybody to tell me. I am the one getting all these informations. I am the one bringing all these informations. And I can tell, not just only coming here I discuss all this with my friends. Sincerely speaking, you guys have no idea how such of a flex this is to me. It's a very huge flex for me. The truth is that I feel like one of the ladies, she's also a white woman, saying that the white people are terrified of being outnumbered. Who is outnumbering them? Who is outnumbering them? Eventually, they will be outnumbered. But why are they scared? Because the system is actually, they built the system for themselves. Why are they scared? They know why they are scared, because they know they are not doing right. I will draw the curtain here. Bye for now.